my mic on.
Yeah.
Mikel, just a couple of players to check in on, if that's okay with you. I know that obviously Calafiori in the warm-up had to be replaced on the weekend. How is he, first of all?
He's fine. So he was training with us today. He's feeling better, and hopefully he's fit for tomorrow.
And Ben White obviously came off, but then posted that he was fine.
Yeah.
Is he okay as well?
It was just a bit of fatigue, obviously. He did a lot in the game, and by the end of it, he was feeling a bit of tightness in the hamstring, but he's fine.
And Martin Odegard missed out, but is he back in the mix for Wolves, or maybe more for Sunday?
No, for Wolves he's not going to be fit, but for Sunday we are very hopeful that he can be with us.
And anyone else that we should know about?
Kai is the other one that, again, for the weekend is a possibility, so looking forward to have him in the squad.
Yeah, okay. And how much was Wigan, the performance result, just what you kind of needed right now in terms of physically giving some guys some game time, others rest, and then also mentally just to kind of reset what's coming over the next few weeks?
Yeah, well, very little time to reset because we're going to play a game tomorrow and then on Sunday again, and then we continue to play. But really good, because that means that we are in every competition in a really strong position as well. So it was good because I liked a lot what the players delivered. Some players that didn't have many minutes, and the attitude, the way we attacked the game, it was very impressive.
And you can almost feel the kind of joy that maybe sometimes when you're week in, week out, you know, playing under pressure, you just got that sense that there was what you wanted really, which was like to enjoy it, to relish it, and just a reminder of why you're kind of doing it, rather than the pressure and the stress of, you know, week in, week out, the tightness of the Premier League.
Because the position that we are in is a privilege, and we take it because we have earned it for so long. 7.5 months is a long time to every single day do the right things and perform at the level that we are performing to where we are. So we need to embrace that. Tomorrow we know we're going to play a really difficult match. Our recent past with them showed how tough it was to actually win the 3 points. I know Rob really well and how he sets his team, so it's going to be a tough test.
And just finally from me, having had a little bit of a break, we are back on it, you know, in the whole title race, and everyone looking at, I know you're not, but everyone looking at everyone else and who's playing which game where. Pep sort of spoke after the cup game on the weekend and said, you know, we're where we need to be, and I know that my players understand what to do kind of from here on in, because we've been there and we've done it. When you look at your players, what gives you the confidence this year that although you haven't been there and done it, this year you can go and do it?
Well, they have given me the confidence that what we've done up to now every single day, and that's the biggest reassurance to do it in every competition, in the manner we've done it, with all the challenges that we faced already. Gives me confidence because it's the way we prepare. I don't get the confidence for the things that I imagine. It's for the things that I see every day and the preparation and how much the player want it. And we are where we want to be, that's for sure.
Do you think we look too much into it in terms of because they've been there and done it? How much does that really matter in players' minds?
I don't know. Obviously, we are looking at what we are doing and especially what we have to do in the present time. So tomorrow, how we have to perform against Wolves to do it better than that and win the game. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Sarah from the Premier League.
Hi, Mikel.
Hello.
You just mentioned you know Rob Edwards very well. When he was managing Luton, he gave you some tight matches there as well. What have you made of Wolves this season, and what do you expect of them tomorrow?
Well, because most of the game, that's what they are doing against opponents, and he came in a really difficult moment for the club, and I know how he feels about the club and the way he works, and it's going to be very tough. If we do the things that we do really well, we have a big chance to win the game, and we need to play as well with that purpose and confidence.
We know from yourself and the players how much of a leader Marino is, and obviously how much he helped tactically on the pitch. He's very smart in that aspect. I just wanted a little bit of insight, because some Premier League managers like to keep the recovery of players quite separate to the main squad. What's your philosophy when there's injured players? You like to keep them very included, you like to keep them around, especially if someone of his calibre?
Yeah, well, that is a time for everything, because it's what we want as a team, and what the players and the families as well need at some point. So it's a long-term injury, so he's with us now and very involved with us in every meeting at the moment. Then he's going to have a period as well because the injury requires, and I think the body demands and the mind demands as well, some time in a different part of the world next to his family, and then he will be back with us for the end of the season.
And lastly, we've seen you play with like a secure double pivot of Zubimendi and Declan Rice in front of the centre-backs, which has allowed some of your full-backs to come up in the half space and be in that area whilst your attackers are sort of staying wide. What do you want your full-backs to be doing when they're given the chances further up the pitch?
Well, depending on the position that we are playing and which space, as you mentioned, occupying the width, the base, the pocket, and have that functionality in the team, I think is really, really positive. Then we will adapt to the players that we have, because some of them are more comfortable in certain spaces. But I think what our fullbacks are doing this season, it's another level.
Thank you.
Ian Thompson.
Hi Mikel.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Excellent. You will be well aware that, of course, we are going into the Chinese Year of the Horse.
Mm-hmm.
So, you weren't able to win against Wolves.
I'm a Spanish, yeah?
You're Spanish, but it's Chinese Year of the Horse is like all around. Anyway, you weren't able to win at a canter against Wolves at the Emirates. So, are you a bit more wary going to Molyneux tomorrow?
Well, I think the understanding of the difficulty of the match is always there in any game in the Premier League. But when you come to the last stages of the season, you know the importance of every win and what you have to do. And I sense the team in a really good emotional state, really looking forward to play tomorrow. And that's why, play with that energy, that confidence, and I'm sure we'll continue to what we've done.
And is it good after Sunday's win over Wigan in the FA Cup to be getting back in the saddle in terms of the Premier League?
It's great to be in every competition. It's great to change the mood from competition to competition and adapt to that in the manner that we are doing. So, yeah, every competition is very welcome.
And of course, finally, with every win that you manage to achieve, and hopefully you'll win for your sake tomorrow at Wolves, the finishing line comes into sight. But can we expect Arsenal to gallop away with the title if you keep on winning games?
Well, that's what we're going to do, and the more wins we win in the next few weeks, the best we're going to be in the position that we want to be.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Alex Gibson.
Hi Mikel.
Hi.
Last season, Mikel Merino had a big impact towards the end of the season, playing in an unfamiliar position. Bukayo Saka had an impressive 45 minutes playing as a number 10 against Wigan. When players have these impacts and it's positive, do you feel like it's best just to let them continue and see what happens? Yeah,
obviously the circumstances of certain players as well sometimes forces you to do certain things, but Mikel adapted incredibly well to the 9th position because we miss Kai and Gavi at the time, and now we have issues with midfielders and players that are stepping in. Bukayo's case as well, it's obviously a one that we need to consider for the future, but really good, especially the players respond to different tasks or roles in the manner that they are doing.
How did he react to it after coming up at 45 minutes? Did he feel like he enjoyed playing as a number 10?
I think he does, and everything that brings a challenge to him and he needs to prove something, I think it ticks something on him, and I think it's something positive.
James Athletic.
Hi Mikel.
Hi.
I just want to ask you a bit about the dynamic between Noni and Bukayo, because it's quite an unusual situation where you've got two players similar ages competing not just with their club but for an England place as well, and yet it seems they have a really kind of positive, supportive relationship. I just wonder what your experience has been like working with them this year.
Well, this morning we had another one. They were in the gym and they were testing, and everybody was trying to compete with each other, and those two were hilarious as usual. And it's great to witness because is natural, you know. It's the way they like each other so much. They constantly together, and yeah, there is certain competition within the places, but they take it from an incredible side, and then the team gets benefit for that, and they get benefit for that as well.
And that kind of chemistry that exists between them personally, do you think that could have a positive impact on the pitch playing together?
Always does. I mean, and anybody has played the sports or worked with people in their teams and their environments that you are willing to see and do things together in the morning is much better with someone that you don't even want to look at his face. So yeah, it's very pleasant. I think they enjoy their company, and I think they make each other better.
And obviously Noni and Bukayo know each other really well. When you were thinking about bringing Noni in, is Bukayo one of the people you spoke to about him?
Yes, I did, especially with the England boys, obviously, because they knew him really well, with some people that had Noni in the academy as well, because it's very important to understand the trajectory and how players and coaches feel about their experience with him.
Tom, Rick?
Mikel, I want to ask you about retraining bravery in players after they've suffered injuries, and in particular when a player has an impact injury, like we've seen it with Kai at United or Martin against West Ham, Calafiori on Italy duty last season, and when a player returns from those types of injuries, is it a challenge for them to then have the bravery to go back in for those impact moments, and how do you train that confidence again?
Great question. Really difficult to replicate, or something you don't want to replicate as well, the actual action that got a player injured, and especially the bad or long-term injuries that you just described. So it is a tricky zone. Sometimes have to happen naturally. Obviously, the more you have players around and more unexpected things happen, and you go through them almost without realizing, that's, in my opinion, the best way.
Sometimes when players get muscular injuries, fans and critics talk about the idea of losing a yard of pace after a player returns from those. Is there any credit in that, or can a player recover 100% of that kind of muscular spring, if you like, in those moments?
Well, it depends on the injury. Obviously, if it's a hamstring and you have to reproduce an action at max speed, and you have the handbrake on a little bit because you don't want to expose, it can happen. Or you have a rec firm and you are scared to shoot from distance as well, and you just make a pass. It can be in the brain, but I think part of the rehab and part of the people that are involved in that process is to give that reassurance, to do the drills, the exercises, the treatments that the players need. So when they are there, they are 100% able to do the action when the game requires that.
Matt from Standard.
Hi.
I think it's 3 times now in the last couple of months you've had an injury in the warm-up and had to make a late change.
4.
4, I think.
Yeah.
Is that something you're looking into? That seems incredibly rare.
Yeah, big time. They were very different. The first one was with Willie when he rolled his ankle against Liverpool. Then we had 2 incidents with Ricky in the warm-up in a really similar way. And the other one was Bukayo after he rested on midweek and didn't play against Carrack, and then against Leeds he has that incident. Very unusual, probably happened once or twice I think in 6 years I've been here, and it happened 4 times there. So obviously we are looking up to it. On the Willis one, very difficult to see. Sometimes as well you want to try and test a player before to make sure that he's ready, and the warm-up is another opportunity to do that. And Bukayo's very random because he never gave any symptoms or signals away that this could happen in the warm-up. But it's what it is. We have to learn.
Has it changed almost how you approach matches? Do you now spend more time on sort of alternative scenarios in case this does happen? Yeah,
I can feel my body that I'm more aware of it. So in the office, and the moment I hear my door and somebody stepping in, I'm like, no, please. Because it's a moment that is very tricky, because when you change Ricky for Bukayo, you have to change a lot of things within the game plan. Positions is a lot of things that are different, and you have 2 minutes to do that. So yeah, it makes you a better coach because you have to be what if, and there are more and more what ifs just before the game, and then a lot during the game. So you just need to be more prepared.
Okay, last couple of years live. James, yes, yeah.
I was going to ask about the warm-ups as well. I mean, it's a stupid question, but what is the warm-up for? I mean, do you do the same warm-up every time?
Yeah. Maybe we have to change the word. To get warm, hopefully they are warm, no? To be ready, to be at their best, mentally, physically, to be activated, to be connected with the teammates. That's what the warm-up is for, you know, and to start to have the feeling, and probably start to tell the body, and the game is coming, the adrenaline is going to start to pick up, the testosterone has to be in the right spots, and you're ready to compete.
And is it regimented? Do you have the set warm-up for every game, or do you change it?
No, we have, and I was a player as well, and we like certain routines, and that's the way you tell your body as well, it's coming, and to change that sometimes is tricky. But it's a really good area to have a look. What would happen if we don't do the warm-up? Because then at halftime, we go at halftime and we sit almost for 15 minutes, and then we go full gas again in the second half, you know. So yeah, maybe something to think about.
And just finally, this game against Wolves is obviously rearranged at fairly short notice. I mean, I know you can't change it, obviously, but were you happy with how that was done?
it is done, and obviously it's not in our hands. We have to play now, and we are very happy to play tomorrow.
Daniel,
Good afternoon, Mikel. This weekend you played Bukayo in the 10 role. It's raising questions if he's going to play there again, or will he stay in his current role out wide and you'll incorporate his skill set with him inverting more? Is that something you have planned?
Yeah, depending on the options that we have available, we will try to be as good as possible, and I will have another opportunity, another option there, which is great to have.
And Declan's having a great season. He seems more polished. There's been a question about him being able to pass through the lines and progress the ball without driving. This season he's improved. He's only second behind Zubimendi. Is it something that he went away and worked on himself, or something that's put emphasis on him to work on so that he can improve his game and become more well-rounded?
Yeah, with every player we have set some targets and things that we want to develop in their games, especially that can give huge value to the team, and that's one of the areas with Declan that we need to continue to do that, because he can be such a threat from every angle, any position, to damage and hurt the opposition.
We go to Arsenal, 4 points clear at the top with 12 games to go. If you don't go on to win the league now, considering you could have been 9 points clear if Liverpool had hung on against Manchester City, would this be getting described as basically throwing away, bottling it, doing a Newcastle?
For sure. Of course, we know it would be, and it has been in the past. I think it would have gone down as a bottle job 22, 23. Some would argue 23, 24. What people want me to do is come on here and stick to that narrative that people are pushing, which is we haven't got the minerals, the players and the managers don't have the minerals. If Arteta doesn't win this or that, he's got to go. But fuck all of that. We're 4 points clear, and no one is looking at anyone else. It's all on Arsenal, and that doesn't quite sit right with me. We've been 4 points clear actually for quite a few months now. The first time I came on here was October, and we were top of the league, and we're still top of the league. The frustration is, where I see the narrative coming from, is we could have extended that lead a lot more, and we've let City come quite close, and it's the PTSD from the past. Why are you laughing?
You lost the lead this round.
You're scared, man.
I am a little bit scared. Look,
you look scared.
I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah.
The reason that I'm nervous is, look, like I said last time I came on here, I said that no one doubts our quality. No one doubts that on our day, all of our footballers are borderline world class, if not world class, in our starting 11. But what it is going to come down to is the mentality. And we don't know if we have that mentality yet. We do know that Man City have that mentality.
I mean, Wayne, I made a comment about Arsenal about 3 or 4 weeks ago on the back of picking my Premier League team of the season so far. And you're talking about mentality. I think Arsenal have got great mentality. But do you think there could be a lack of quality in the final third? I said that about when I watched Arsenal. I don't think they've got an absolute superstar in the front 4 or 5 players. I thought Saka and Odegard were going to get there a couple of years ago. I thought they're ready to sort of almost become the best player in the league. You know, you were that for Man United, but you've been leagues, you'd be the best player in the league, or Ronaldo would be, Salah would be for Liverpool. I don't think Arsenal have got one of them. So when you're saying mentality, I think what could stop them is actual quality.
Yeah, no, I agree with, they haven't got an out-and-out superstar world-class player you pin everything on. But I think what we've seen over the last 3 years is they know how to win games. So they've shown you actually don't need that. But for me, I think what's happening is the Arsenal fans, the ex-players coming out are actually killing them. They stay silent and let everyone else talk. I heard Martin Keown on
I knew you were going to say.
I heard Martin Keown on TalkSport saying having a 6 point gap is better than 9. And I was like, what are you talking about? And that's an experienced player who's getting nervous, and that is what's going through to the fan. I think Arteta has actually handled it brilliantly. I think the way he's speaking, how he's coming out in the media, how he's trying to calm the players down, is brilliant. But I think it's actually other people who are connected to the club who would actually have more of an effect. And so if you look at Arsenal quality-wise, I think they've got a lot of quality. Have they got that superstar, Ronaldo, Drogba, Aguero type player who's going to make a difference? I don't think they have, but they know how to win games. And they've shown that over the last 3 years.
We've scored 90 goals across all competitions, which is the most out of any English team. So it's not Look, no one's denying that we haven't been ruthless in the final third, but our goals do come from somewhere. What I think
come from corners and goals, mate.
Yeah, but it's worked because we're top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League.
You might as well just name.
Yeah, but there's a lot of goals. It's 90.
We've not scored the most in the league. You got second most in the league.
Okay, but you're second in the league for now. Yeah. So it's
we'll keep it warm.
It's been working. But what I think we haven't developed since the first year that we bottled it is our ability to win games of football that we probably shouldn't have won. And that is what scares me about Man City. That is what I think is the difference between us. I don't think there's too much difference in quality between us. I think it'd be a great game. We'll see it coming up soon. But you look at City the other day, 1-0 down, 84th minute, 6 minutes to go plus added time, and they turn it around 2-1. They had absolutely no right to win that game, and they did. And that is what I don't think we've quite got just yet. We've had many chances to replicate those type of games. Growing up, I've only ever seen United, City, Chelsea and Liverpool lift titles. And if you go back to all of those seasons where they won the league, you can pinpoint a game that won them the league. There was a game that they shouldn't have won. They had no right to win. We haven't quite done that yet. We haven't quite got a game that you can look back on and think, that game is the one. I remember Chelsea at the Etihad, 2017. Yeah, you rocked up, beat them 3-1, and you left as champions that day, in my opinion. And that is what's frightening about Man City. But it's in our hands. 12 to go, 4 points clear. Every game's massive. Every point is so precious. And I do back us to do it.
Are you worried about the North London derby coming up?
I'm worried about Wolves first. I think Wolves will be a tougher game than Spurs. I think the NLD will be a good game. Its form goes out the window, although we have taken them for a dog walk in the last 6 or 7. But it will be a tough game. What do you reckon, Flav?
Flav, you all right? I think we're going to beat you. That's what I think.
I think you'll be bang up for it. I think that the home advantage will definitely be a big thing. You know, new gaffer on the touchline, bit of music beforehand. But
look, it ain't even about a win. Like, if we just take anything from you, that's going to be a massive problem.
I'm not particularly worried. I think you've got a lot of injuries. I think our quality is enough to get past it. In my opinion, this might sound a bit cliche, it might sound a bit outrageous, but I think whoever wins that Carabao Cup final will go on to win the league, because I think the momentum shift will be massive.
Yeah. But then you meet us again, don't you, in the quarterfinals if you spoke of 3?
Yeah, for the Champions League.
And then in the league.
So I think that 3-4 week period is going to be huge. I mean, psychology, it's going to be huge. Whoever goes through that
it's a big psychological thing, and also we're desperate for a trophy. We haven't won a trophy in a long time now. I think for City and I think for Pep, he couldn't give a shit if he wins the League Cup. It's more of an ego thing for him. He doesn't want Arteta to have one up on him going into this little run-in. So I think it's a massive game. I think it goes more than just a League Cup trophy. It's a big momentum shift.
I think we'd all agree that we think Arsenal are the best team. I think most of us watching this season.
Yeah. 26 games in.
But the point I'm trying to make is, Adam, as a Man United fan, the thing I think City have got is we've been there before. We've done this before. They don't feel the pressure. They've won 6 titles in 7 years. We don't feel it's a vintage City. But have you watched Man United teams of the past where throughout the season you felt like you weren't watching the greatest of Man United teams, but they'd end up winning the league just through a sheer sort of, Ferguson speed and so. Could you see a situation like that where actually City do win the league, even though most people think, Arsenal, they've got the best squad, they've got the best team, just through, as I said, what Manchester United maybe did in certain seasons, maybe just mentality got them over the line.
Arsenal as well, I think they're obviously one of the best teams about, but they clearly have this mental issue, and I do think at the moment a lot of their fans are kind of putting their head in the sand and being like, we actually are enjoying what's going on at the moment. It's easy to enjoy it when you're top of the league. I find if they just slip off there, the pressure from the fans then is going to come as well, and I think there'll be a lot of talk about the style of play, but I do think there's that pressure coming, and I think for a long time they would have felt this City team aren't going to string a couple of results together. They can't really get going like they have done before. But then, like I say, that result at Anfield, we've had big results like at Anfield over the years, and then sometimes you get a result and you just think, this is our league title. And I think looking at City that day, because I want Arsenal to win the league, outside of their fan base, I think I'd rather see them win the league, but I think City are going to do it. I think they're cranking up the pressure a little bit, and Arsenal fans are kind of sticking their head in the sand. Oh, it's still 4 points, it's still 4 points. Next thing you know, it's going to be 2 points.
Jane's back with us. Look, Arsenal through to the 5th round, but my goodness, Mikel Arteta, it's no surprise that he's worried about injuries, is it?
Worried right now, and you'll see here, hopefully you can hear me now, you'll see here a few of the current injuries. We're going to hear from Mikel Arteta in just a second as well, but just update Kai Havertz. He's got a muscular injury. He had a long spell on the sidelines with a knee problem, picked up on the opening weekend of the season against Manchester United. Mikel Merino pretty much ruled out for the season. Ricardo Calafiori went down in the warm-up. That's the second time he's gone down in a warm-up this season. Went down against in a warm-up for Brighton earlier in the season. And Martin Odegaard's picked up a variety of different injuries. She had the shoulder problem, had a knee problem, and it seems like another knee problem that he picked up against Brentford. The injuries are piling up. Some good news for Arsenal fans. Ben White, who went off in the game against Wigan, actually posted on his Instagram last night and said 3 points, no injuries. So there's some positive news. What I would put out, these three in particular, the physicality that all three possess, the height, it's been such a key part of Arteta's success this season. Without those three, that takes away a big threat that Arsenal have. So look, worries for Mikel Arteta, and this is what he said after the game, the FA Cup win over Wigan yesterday.
Him and Ben is the only doubt. We have to wait and see in the next 48 hours how things develop.
Just on Martin, was he rested today, or was he injured? Or?
Yeah, with Martin we have to wait and see. Obviously he picked that knock on the action where we conceded the goal, and he wasn't fit for today. Before it was the strikers, then it was the defenders, now it's the midfielders, but we are still coping with that. But yeah, we need some players back and fit, and to give us as well not only numbers but different options in relation to the opponents that we have. So the quicker they are, the better.
It's interesting you said different options, and despite the fact that we all know Arsenal have got a giant squad this year.
Yeah.
One of the key things is the options within that squad. The option of, against a more physical side, playing a Mikel Merino, against maybe more technical players, bringing in the likes of Martin Odegaard into that midfield. So without those options, it does restrict Arsenal quite a bit. Max Dowman, the young, was 15, now 16. He's been out for a while. He's supposed to be due back in training this week, so we'll wait to see his development back in the squad. Ethan Nwaneri out on loan to Marseille. I'm sure Mikel Arteta perhaps regrets it a little bit. It seemed to make sense at the time, but injuries do happen and it does change things.
Yeah, look, Bukayo Saka was a late addition to the Arsenal team after you mentioning there, obviously Calafiori pulled out in the warm-up. The England winger, now he played in a bit of an unfamiliar role, didn't he?
Yeah, very unfamiliar actually, and I think for Arsenal fans it was quite good to see because they only played the one proper central midfielder in Christian Odegard. Bukayo Saka we're so used to seeing on that right-hand side. I mean, actually was a left-back when he broke into Arsenal's team, but he cemented himself on that right-hand side, but he played centrally. And it was so interesting, the interchange between him and Noni Madueke on the right-hand side. And I think it would have confused Wigan, particularly in that first 30 minutes when Arsenal got all their 4 goals. Probably a big part of that was actually the positioning of Bukayo Saka in that right attacking midfield spot. Eberechi Eze on the left and floating a bit deeper too. But it was interesting to see him play there. He played 45 minutes. He's had his own injury problems, Bukayo Saka, but 45 minutes under his belt, probably preparing him for a busy week for Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta spoke about Bukayo Saka after that game too.